I've been through the rain and I weathered the storm, I'm not looking to stop. My God sent the angels, I'm good when I move like I move with the mob. Tears in the valley, this life is a jungle, I pray to the top. Life is a marathon, I'm running to them, I'm shaking off weights and I'm done with the fear.
This is for the kingdom builders, the entrepreneurs who are called to make an impact bigger than just money alone. The ones who are overcoming trials and turning past failures into future success stories. It's for the bold who refuse to let fear overcome faith. This is Impact Kingdom. And welcome back to Impact Kingdom Podcast, guys. So glad that you can join me in episode number 4. And today I want to talk about what it means to be a steward in your business or with your business. And so one of my favorite stories of the Bible comes from Matthew, I believe it's Matthew 25. And so this is where Jesus tells a parable about being a steward. And so what he talks about is he says that the kingdom of heaven is like a man who comes to his servants. There's 3 of them, and he gives each of them a certain amount of talents. And so when they say talents in the Bible, it doesn't mean like their talents as far as like their abilities or their skill sets or what they can do. A talent is a form of money. And so in the Bible, when it says a talent, is a certain amount of money that he was given. And so what you notice that he gives, it says he goes on to the first person, he gives him 5 talents. Second person, he gives him 2. Third person, he gives 1. And so he gives each of these 3 different people a certain amount of money. And he says, I'm going to go away. When I come back, I'll see you. And so he comes back. And he goes in order with these 3 different people. And he says, first person says, hey, cool, what did you do with what I gave you? First person says, I took your 5, I turned it into 10. Wow. He says, well done, my good and faithful servant. Second person, he says, hey, I took your 2, turned it into 4. He says, well done, my good and faithful servant. Third person, he says, cool, what did you do? Well, I was scared, didn't want to risk it. I was fearful of what you would think or what you would say or what you would do to me. So I took your 1 talent, I buried it, I protected it. And here it is it back to you. And then the master is furious about this. He's furious about the person. He says he's wicked. He says he's lazy, calls him a ton of names, and he is not satisfied with what that person did with what he gave him. And so when we look at this story, this parable, as entrepreneurs, as kingdom builders, right, as Christian business owners and entrepreneurs, we have to ask ourselves, what does this mean for us? And for us, it means that we must be good stewards with what God has given us. And for us, a big part of that is our impact through our business. And in this lesson today, I want to kind of give you 3 takeaways from the story that we can apply to business. And the first one here is that we all have different abilities. And so if you actually look deeper into this text and this parable, the talents were given based on the ability. And now it just is what it is. It's how the world is set, right? We all have different abilities. We have different skill sets. And we're going to be rewarded upon those abilities that we have. And this is why you see some people, right? They make 50 times what the average, person here in America makes. And you see some people that make 10 times more, 20 times more. Some people that just make average. And you see this in business, right? Some businesses are extremely profitable, extremely successful. Some businesses don't do as much, X, Y, Z, right? But what it just tells us that we do have different abilities, right, that are God-given. But the other thing that we can take into account of this is that ability can change over time. We can increase our ability, right? With increases the amount that we should earn as well. And so that's the first principle that we see, is that it's not fair play. It's not just because I'm a Christian business owner and this person is a Christian business owner, we're going to have the same amount of abilities and the same amount of success. And we're going to be given the same amount of financial responsibility from God. We're going to be on different playing fields. And this is completely okay. And that playing field can grow, it can increase as you get more into the game of business entrepreneurship, as long as you develop and continue to improve your abilities. So that's the first thing. Second thing I want to give you here is going to be that we will be blessed with a certain amount based on these abilities. And so the financial fruit of the business is ultimately from God. And this is the big thing. This is why I say be good stewards with our business. And this is something that I had to learn and really learn the hard way, is realizing that the amount of money that I'm earning in my business, the profits that come from it, the things that I get from it, all those different things are not things that I've built. They're not things that I have personally earned. These are all financial fruits from God. And if you think about it that way, it changes your mindset from ownership to being a steward, right? Because if you're a steward, it means that you don't own it. It means that you're renting it, you're taking care of it, right? You're protecting it, you're taking care of it for something bigger than yourself. But if we have the mindset where it's like, hey, I've hustled for this, I built this off of my back, no one's given me a leg up, right? Everything I built in this business is mine, and I'm self-made, and all those different things. We hear that all the time in business. And that's the difference between a Christian business owner and just someone else that is in business for themselves. Because we don't view what we've earned. We don't view what we've made, the success of the business or anything like that. We don't view that as it's our own thing, right? It's God's blessing. And with that, it means that we are stewards of that blessing, which means that we are responsible for what God has given us. And so it takes that ownership off of it, right? Maybe on paper, you're 100% owner of your business, but really in your heart, what we know is that God owns all of that. And it's his to begin with. Which gets me to the third one here, is that with what we have been given in our businesses, we are expected to produce a return on investment for God. And he takes that serious, right? It's not a, let's just go and make as much as we can, spend as much as we can, and just do whatever, and there's no consequences from it. As we see with the person, the last servant, right, who did not make a return on investment, we saw what God thought of that person. And so we've been blessed with a business and opportunity and financial fruits, and we're not using that to continue to increase it, make a return on investment, use our abilities to increase the amount of revenue that we can have, increase the amount of profits, right? Increase the gain that we have. We're that same person who kind of took that ability that he had from God, took what God blessed him with, and did nothing with it and did not grow it. And as we saw before, God called that person a ton of names. He was lazy. He was not good. It was not good in God's eyes. And so if we want to get that, well done, my good and faithful servant, then it is up to us to make sure that we are using our abilities to take the financial blessings that we've gotten from God in our business to continue to multiply that over and over and over again, and to be wise with it and to do well with it, right? And so this is just the shift, right? It's a big shift, and it also, just for me, it gives me a lot more faith and peace when I think of my business in terms of, hey, this isn't my business, it's God's business, and I'm just here to be a good steward of it, because it takes us off a little bit of stress. And you realize that at the end of the day, God's got this. It's in his hand, right? As long as I continue to have that mindset and be a good steward of what I have been blessed with. So guys, hope you like this message. Hope you can take some of those key takeaways and have a different perspective on your business. Thanks for tuning in to episode number 4. As always, please subscribe, shoot me a comment, shoot a message. We'd love to get in touch with you. Love to learn more about your business and kind of how you're pursuing things in the kingdom and creating your impact. All right, I'll see you on the next one. Take care.